Welcome to Post-Colonial Space. I'm Masood Raja, and this is one of my videos in my series on Palestine, and especially on the genocide happening in Gaza. I just read that the White House is sending their senior advisors to Chicago to talk to the Muslim leaders. Similarly, Senator Schumer today gave a resounding speech asking Netanyahu to resign and for Israelis to elect a new government. Now, what this indicates is that what we have been doing in the streets on social media now has an impact. What we have been trying to say clearly and openly is that what Hamas did, at least I said so, is absolutely horrendous and terrible. And I will never support any such action where you go and kill civilians. But what Israel is doing through its bombings, by starving the people of Gaza and by killing women and children, is absolutely wrong and genocidal. This is what we have been saying. What we have been asking of the US government is to take a stand on that and to speak for an immediate ceasefire. Now, you know and I know people usually think, they look at our names and they think we are either naive or too ill-informed, right? And then they can associate other negative things to our names too. Yes, I understand Biden is not the president of Israel. He cannot make decisions for Netanyahu, right? But he's sending Netanyahu $10 billion in the bombs that Netanyahu is throwing at Gaza. Who stops Biden from withholding that aid and connecting it to availability of food, medicine, and aid to the citizens of Gaza? Who told Biden and his administration to veto 3 Security Council resolutions about ceasefire? So, yeah, come and talk to our community, because now you feel like your presidential election is probably imperiled, because it's not just the Muslims alone. It's the young progressive democratic voters also, people of conscience who have started speaking up and in solidarity are saying, enough. We cannot have an autonomous state with its military killing and starving civilians and still somehow claim to be the victim. So the Israeli narrative of this garden of democracy within the desert of Arab dictatorships, right, it has itself was a fiction. Because we know, those who study Palestine, how Palestinians are treated, Arabs are treated inside Israel and in occupied territories. We have records of it. But that fiction was maintained and is still being maintained through the mainstream media, through the main political parties in the United States, but it's now unmaintainable because thanks to social media, thanks to people on the ground, the suffering and murder of Palestinians in Gaza is openly available for people to see. So, what is it that I want to add today? That we need to remain steadfast and be constant in our critique of this genocidal war. And we need to constantly frame it as a genocide, call it a genocide. Because when we invoke the frame of genocide, we are pointing to what's happening directly through bombings and slowly through starvation. And our opponents then have to work in our frame. Read your George Lakoff. The moment they open their mouth, the first sentence that comes out of their mouth is, it's not a genocide. That means they have used our vocabulary. They have enforced it and reinforced it. So as someone who, absolutely has no power and not a very wide reach, but who has a conscience and believes in the absolute right of the Palestinian people to self-determination and human dignity, and who believes that no nation on this earth, no matter what their history, has the right to bomb civilians, kill children and women, and occupy their lands and run it as a colony. No nation has that right. I am here to share these words in solidarity with the people of Gaza, in solidarity with those who are still starving and still dying because of this war. And I'm here to remind President Biden and his coalition and all the other politicians, may they be Republicans or Democrats, that we are watching and we will not remain silent. And we will constantly keep bringing the genocide in Gaza up unless there is a ceasefire. And further from that, we will constantly keep working towards an autonomous, independent Palestinian state. So that's it for today. Thank you all so much. My love to the entire planet, but especially to people of Gaza. And I hope your suffering ends, and I hope your life is filled with love, peace, and dignity in this holy month of Ramadan. Ma salam, goodbye, peace and love.